Hello, and welcome to the ProjectWise Administrator Advanced Accreditation course on the iModel Composition Server for PDF. In this lesson, you will be converting a binary settings file to an ASCII file for use in the iModel Composition Server. Converting a binary settings file to ASCII will allow users to apply their plotting standards to selected files at plot time when using the iModel Composition Server, and provide convenience to administrators when creating plotting standards. During this lesson, you will learn how to convert an existing binary settings file to an ASCII text file. What is a settings file? Think of a settings file as a container that will merge your plotting standards together during a print submission. A settings file will apply the correct MicroStation or AutoCAD pin table and apply any additional design scripts that are needed to resymbolize your plots. Settings files basically provide an easy and flexible way to define default plotting values for your plots and your plot sets. You can use settings files to store plotting parameters so they can be easily reused, enforce drawing standards, group together plotting parameters so that you can apply them to specific plots or plot sets, and of course, assist novice users. So why an ASCII settings file versus binary? To be perfectly clear, you can continue to use your binary settings files that are created via the ProjectWise Interplot Organizer. But the ASCII settings file does provide a certain amount of convenience for creating additional plotting standards, and it helps tremendously when you lack access to the ProjectWise Dynamic Composition Server printer and its form sizes. In this exercise, you will convert a binary settings file to an ASCII text file. So let's begin our exercise. If we log into our ProjectWise Explorer, we will navigate to our System Admin folder and go to Plotting and look for our settings files in the Settings Files folder. We made our black and white 11x17 settings file in a previous lesson on learning how to create settings files. This time, we will not use the editor.ips. We won't need the graphical interface that Interplot Organizer provides us for creating or editing settings files. What we will do is simply double-click or right-click and choose Open and edit this file with a native text editor such as Notepad or Notepad++. This will open the settings file in its current binary format. To convert this binary file into a text file or an ASCII text file, simply get in front of the first dash and erase all of the binary information out of the settings file. Put your cursor in front of each dash and hit Enter. This will bring each form of syntax to a single line. Now that we've gotten each piece of the plotting syntax into a single uniform line, let's review what we have. We can see that the dash model syntax will cut sheets based off of the IP sheet definition models variable. We can see that the plot area is set to print the sheet. The pin table, which is really the interplot design script, provides us the ProjectWise folder ID and information for which particular design script to use. The MicroStation pin table, it provides us the ProjectWise folder location. That particular syntax would be the same information you would use for an AutoCAD CTB that was stored in ProjectWise. We can see our paper size, the form size we're requesting from the ProjectWise Dynamic Composition Server. We can see that we want to print the full sheet, so we've set that to true. We want to maximize that sheet and center it. Now, why did we bother to use the ASCII file? One, our first problem is the form size. If you're relying on the form size, this particular form in its current syntax would not be found on the ProjectWise Dynamic Composition Server printer. But if you do know the name of forms on that plotter, then you can simply replace this text by just typing what you need. For example, I know there is no 11x17 form size available on that Dynamic Composition Server printer, but it does offer me tabloid, which will give me 11x17. Or I could have the 11 by 17 form size created on the dynamic composition server printer and specify the correct name here for paper size. Once that is complete, we can just click Save and save this directly back into ProjectWise by checking in the file. But why, once again, is this more convenient for me if I'm an administrator? Let's check this file back into ProjectWise. Now that that file has been checked back into ProjectWise, let's right-click on it and go to Copy To. We'll rename this particular file and we'll call it DSize. We'll click OK. Now we have a copy of our black and white 11 by 17 called black and white DSize sheet. Let's go ahead and open this file in ProjectWise either by double-clicking or right-clicking and choosing Open. And this gives me the convenience of simply changing the form size without having to go through ProjectWise Interplot Organizer. For example, I know that there is a DSize sheet available as a form size for our plotter. And the case and syntax matters. So if you say DSize with the capital S's, it will not find the form size. And you'll end up with letter. So it's very important that when you name the paper size, you are accurate in the name of the actual form found on the plotter. This also gives me the ability to change the folder where I might keep my design scripts or where I might keep my pin tables. So I could easily just change the number to a different ProjectWise folder if I know the folder ID. And that too is convenient for us. But for now, this is enough. We'll keep our existing ProjectWise folders for our design script and our pin table. And we'll just simply click Save and check our new DSize settings file back into ProjectWise. This concludes the lesson on converting a binary settings file to ASCII. Let's review what's been learned. During this lesson, you've learned how to convert an existing binary settings file to an ASCII text file. The next video will provide techniques on how to define source file presentation settings when printing with the iModel composition server. Thank you.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.